Hey guys, back with some more tachiai practice here. Yeah, again, this exercise, I posted a couple videos about this exercise we do. It's again just focusing on the tachiai, the initial impact, in those first few seconds after the initial contact. Main points of this exercise is to, again, focus on your tachiai, focus on your entry, focus on denying your opponent's position while keeping control. It also just works as a good time to experiment with your tachiai as well. Try new entries, try new things. That's what I really try to do with this exercise as well. But let's get into it. So here we are here. I come in. I managed to get my head in a really good position here on my opponent. This is exactly where I want to try to set up every time for my tachiai. I come in, get my head right onto the chest there. Right hand inside, left hand outside. Really deny my opponent their position here. And then from there, it would just be a matter of keeping squared up with my opponent and then waiting for that opportunity to drive through. Definitely what I'm trying to work on for my sumo. And now, again, nice strong sumo here. And there. Nice good push out there. Again, one guy stands up a bit there, which allows his opponent to get in. Head right on the chest. Arms both inside. Gives the good advantage on the belt there. Allows to lift up your opponent. Keep good control over them as you drive through, keeping your head on the chest. Now, something to keep in mind is if you're shorter than your opponent, you don't necessarily want to try to stand tall with them. You take away a lot of your power and your leverage. What you want to try more is keep low, keep the knees bent, and do more kind of that hopping that you'll see some of the pros will do sometimes. That way, you're not extending yourself and taking away your power, but you're still able to utilize and take advantage of that position. And then when you get to the edge, then you can really try to extend to force them out. Nice good entry here. Staying solid. And then nice little defense there. And as we see here, if we scroll back, really good, nice solid entry here. Got a good hand placement on the armpit there. Really lets you kind of lift up your opponent while also like really controlling that arm. Tries to slide in there with that underhook, but doesn't really quite utilize it. Could have been a little better keeping it on the armpit and then trying to drive and kind of like keeping that arm up or having gone for the belt. Opponent tries to shift there, but he's able to kind of keep on his toes and defend against it. Now, I'm trying to get better at my thrusting and my fall through on my nodowa. Because when I come up, if my opponent gives me resistance, I want to start getting better at being able to kind of like follow through with my thrusting or move into a belt grip. Here, you see, I kind of catch it there. He resists. I'm able to see that opening and shift into that thrusting. And kind of go for like a bit of like a thrust / oshidashi here to kind of like get him out. And this is what I really mean with these kind of tachiai practices. As you can see here, contact, maintain control, deny my opponent control, win. And that was only in a few seconds. So that's why this exercise really matters. Those first few seconds are key. Opponent comes in, Now this one was pretty good. Again, this gives shows an important weakness of thrusting, especially for people with longer arms too as well, is you'll kind of start thrusting, especially on shorter people. You might tend to lean forward too and start leading with the head. And that leaves you open to this right here where, boom, sidestep. And then your opponent can kind of try to get around you or tie you up. Thrusting's very linear, so you never want to try to like lead too much or kind of lose track of things. You always want to kind of keep your hips under you, keep solid. That way your opponent can't shift away or sidestep as easily on you. Oh. This one was nice and solid. I kind of got my arm stuck a bit on the initial contact here. I went for a slap into kind of like a forearm blast, but my opponent was able to resist and kind of trap me down here. Did a really good job at denying me grips on the inside, which forced me onto a double outside grip there. He ended up in a much better position there. He had both hands inside on my hips, head in a good position. I was definitely in the weaker position at the end of that one. Nice tachiai. And nice back and forth here. Eventually getting the opponent out here. Now, something that's kind of wanting to make note of here is, I think if I back up here a little bit, I think it was about here. I think we shifted to another exercise actually. The exercise we started doing at this point was focusing on just your underhook, overhook kind of situation without using the belt. So we're just focusing on that sort of upper body of using the arms and not using the belt. And again, going for like a Yuriki force out. One person would attack, one person would try to defend it. And yeah, again, focusing just on that sort of upper body control and movement and not relying on the belt. So again, they come in chest to chest. And something important here is you see him kind of like moving the elbow here. You see him moving it a lot here. And it's in a moment like this where you can make that space where you're moving it, and then you can try to shift in while there's that space. And you got your opponent kind of like the pressure on him. And yeah, good use. Kept the arm up. You see here, kept that other arm high, kept the pressure on him, kept that other arm in a good position, was able just to keep him, force him out. And here, I go in on the belt out of instinct there. I think we both did, and we realized that we gotta just stick to the upper body here. And then tie up here. And I just kind of use my size here to kind of keep that pressure, and with that underhook to kind of help kind of lift and position my opponent as I drive through there. Again, nice solid chest to chest here. Go for the belt out of instinct, we both do, and then we realize that we can't do that. Because this exercise, again, we want to really focus on the upper body, using the arms to attack and defend. A lot of underhook, overhooks. Learning to kind of like focus on Yuriki, controlling your opponent, defending, attacking, without the use of the belt. That's kind of the big part of this exercise we're doing here. I like to really kind of break down kind of fights and matches into different smaller kind of components to kind of like work on stuff. And then that way, when you come to sparring, you have all these little bits that you practice, and then you can try to put them all together in the full sparring. You want to try to kind of look at things in their little smaller individual parts and work on them. And then bring them all together into sparring. So again, this one, and for these matches, we tend to do about 30-second matches here. So I was defending in this position where my opponent was attacking. And so what I do in this position is actually that left hand on the outside I have for that overhook. Once I kind of get that overhook in nice and strong, I actually try to reach through as far as I can and try to put actually my left hand onto my right bicep, and then keep that arm clamped down really solid. And then kind of just try to maintain control of my opponent's upper body and just keep in a nice solid position there where he's trying to wear himself out there. He did a good job. He got me onto the edge a couple of times, but I was able to push back. And yeah, I went for a bit of an armbar throw there just to try to throw him off. That's something else that these drill really teaches too, is those sort of like armbar techniques too that like Terunofuji was really good at, and you're starting to see Otomofuji pick up. That's what another thing this exercise really teaches you too, as well, is how to clamp down and utilize those arms too as well. Again, same thing. That overhook's coming through, and then just tying up that arm, reaching through as far as you can to like tie up that there. So then you can catch your opponent with that, with throws, and just kind of keep them in a position where you're in control and they don't really have the options to move around. So good back and forth here. And good use of the underhooks there to, again, keeping that underhook and then kind of stepping in slowly and just lifting up, down, and then lift back up to slowly kind of grind your opponent back. That's a good use of the underhook too as well. So again, in this video, start here. We had our initial tachiai practice. Again, the coming in and then that initial 3 seconds, again, to practice the initial contact, practice our tachiais, as well as our follow-up after the initial contact, as well as defending against our opponents. After that, we moved into more of a drill again. We'd come in, but it'd be more focused on the upper body. Like I said, underhooks, overhooks. Really focusing on controlling the upper body, controlling the arms, while one person attacked, one person defended. And learning to kind of utilize the upper body for both attack and defense, and learning to move away and not necessarily always rely on the belt too as well. I find sometimes a lot of people will sometimes start to rely on a particular point, like for example the belt, and they'll forget how to utilize other parts of the body. So sometimes these exercises can really force people out of their comfort zone too, and to try to work on new parts of their game plan too as well, or discover weaknesses that they had that they need to work on too as well, or discover new strengths as well. Again, that's why I try to break things down to different parts, different exercises, just so like we can try new stuff and then bring it all together for sparring. But yeah, that's it for this video, and hope you guys like it, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.